Been gone for a while. Bill Ratliff and I were on a little camping excursion. Not really. He's been gone for a while, and I've been gone for a while. We've all been gone for a while.
We've all been gone. Was I on that camping trip with you?
Yeah, well, we were gone, you know, Wimbledon. Did you like that? The Williams sisters did a good job, and some guy with a long last name lost in Wimbledon. I didn't watch a whole lot of it.
How about the streaker? Did you see that?
I saw it on Yahoo the next day, the streaker. That guy's been at like 2 of the last 6 Wimbledons.
I love how they run out with the big, huge towels and cover them up with the big towels.
I wish I knew you were going to say that. I'd have some sort of silly streaker joke, but unfortunately my streaker joke well is run dry.
I thought you always keep a well of streaker jokes, Brian.
You gotta have a streaker ace in the hole. Unfortunately, I didn't have one today. You know, the reason why we said everybody knows your name, put your hands together. Today, we have a very cool guest. Oh no, it's not Kelsey Grammer.
No.
It's not John Ratzenberger. It's not, give me another name, Schweitzer. Norm. What was his real name? Went. George. It's not George Went. Today, on the daytime show...
Who do we have?
Ladies and gentlemen, live here in the studio today, Miss Kirstie Alley. Huh?
All right.
How about that? Doesn't happen every day across the country, does it? No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't, but it's happening here today on Daytime.
Are we going to do one of those stinger things, or are we just blowing that off, Apes? What do we... No, we're doing... Because today is our Kirstie Alley Monday. Let's see it. There, there it is.
Woo!
There it is. It's a great day today for our money segment today. Big fun. We have a... software, Vinny, with this guy does spam. Spam isn't just for breakfast anymore. That's right.
He doesn't do spam. He blasts spam.
Oh,
People don't need more spam on their
I thought we were having a spam eating contest here today.
This is to tell you how to get rid of that annoying spam.
In your emails, of course. And our very own Dr. Phil is here today. Chandra is here, and she is going to be talking about all kinds of fun stuff. Just when you think maybe that your relationship has kind of hit a dead end, nope. Chandra's going to walk right in, and she's going to streak across Wimbledon.
No, she's not doing that, Brian.
Somebody messed up my notes here today.
She's not doing that.
Okay.
But you can call in if you have any questions for Chandra later in the show, and it's going to be all about relationships.
That's right.
We all need help on our relationships.
As we mentioned before, you know, she waltzed into our life as the boss and the lover of Sammy Mayday Malone, former pitcher for the Boston Red Sox. Since then, and actually before then, she's won Emmys. She's been in movies. She's a big Hollywood star. And now she's got a house like Deborah's here in Clearwater. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our new friend, Kirstie Alley.
Hello.
Hey there.
Hey, good to see
Hi,
you.
how are you?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Hi.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Well, I would welcome you to the Bay Area, but you're pretty familiar with it.
Yes, I've come here a lot for many years. I had a house here once. So.
And you have another house here now, right?
No, I don't have a house here now.
Oh, you don't? You used to have a house.
I used to have a house here.
You had the big Presley mansion, no longer?
No, because after it was the big Presley mansion and then my house, there were a lot of boats parked out in front.
And is that why you sold it?
That's one of the reasons I sold it. It was just a bit of a security thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of those things you don't think about when you live on the water.
You don't see that on Extra either, do you? Huh?
See, if you live by McNeil Air Force Base like I do, you wouldn't have to worry about that because you have the Coast Guard helicopter circling all the time, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But I love the area. I'm actually sort of looking for another place.
In the area?
Maybe.
Yeah, just nothing. You know, they can only put those guard gates on the streets. They haven't quite figured it out where they can put it on the water for the boats yet.
Yeah, that's fun. I love the water. I think the beaches here are beautiful.
Aren't they great?
Yeah, I really do. I think they're the prettiest that I've ever seen.
How old are the kids now?
8 and almost 10.
And are they enjoying their summer break?
This is where they chose to come.
Oh,
They
that's nice.
chose to come here in July, which isn't sometimes the choice to come to Florida in July.
It's a little warm.
It's a little warm, but you know what? It's beautiful. I thought, oh my God, we're going to smother to death, but it's great.
It's really not that bad.
No, it turned out
I used to do weather, so.
Tell me that's something you haven't always wanted to do, the old blue screen there.
I've always wanted to do it because I don't get it. Like, here's this, but you can't really see anything. And here's this. I'm thinking, I would really be bad at this.
I'm really good
Days we're gonna
friends
do
with
something
John Winter next door. Maybe we can get you on the 5 o'clock
I
or
would
something.
love to
Wouldn't
be
that be
able
cool?
to point at something.
And right in front of that green screen.
What do you do? Like, look out here and you see where you're pointing?
You look at a monitor. Not that everyone at home needs to know this, but you look at a monitor in front of you and you can see the map behind you. There's
so
also a
then you
monitor
go.
on the side and the side. So when you turn to the side and it looks like you're looking at the map, you're really looking at a monitor.
Oh, my. Now, see, that's hard. That's a little too hard.
You don't
Takes a
see
little
that on
practice.
Extra. Do you?
You don't. And my IQ is not high enough to point the right direction in the monitor. Now,
Oh, you get used
you
to
couldn't
it.
be dyslexic.
That would be a
tough.
problem.
Kansas.
So Kirstie Alley, walking around in Clearwater, St. Pete, Tampa, wherever you are, can you just kind of walk around with the baseball hat, or is it difficult?
What do you mean?
Do people bother you, recognize you, want your autograph, want to date you?
They do
I
all
don't
that,
know.
but that doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. Do you know? I mean, if they didn't recognize me or want an autograph, then it would sort of mean that my shows were not very successful. And you know.
Speaking of your shows, obviously everyone knows you from Cheers and Veronica's Closet and all of the movies that you've done. What projects are you working on now?
I will have a new show this fall, but I can't really talk about it yet because we're sort of in negotiations. And I have a thing called Salem Witch Trials that will come out in November with Shirley MacLaine and Peter Ustinov and Rebecca De Mornay. And then I've just been spending a lot of time with my kids.
And we've seen you a lot on TV on the Pier 1 commercials.
Oh, yes, Pier 1. I love Pier 1.
How do you like that character you play on Pier 1? Is that Kirstie Alley, or is that just, is that like supposed to be us?
That is sort of me because, see, here's the deal. It was one of those fluky things in life where I have spent lots of time in Pier 1. For real. Before I ever had that job. Do you know? And so when they were talking to me about it, I said, really, you should... I said, I've spent so much money in your stores that you really owe me this money. Do you know? So, and that's how I shop in Pier 1. I open the doors in Pier 1 like this. Oh my God! Oh my God! Candles! Oh my God! Oh my... You know, like if I'm having a party, martini glasses, there's a million. Oh my God, martini glasses for $1.25, there's a million. We can buy 1,000,000 of them. That's how I am in there. So it was pretty easy. They had written me a little more low-key. And then when they saw how I really was in there, even when we were filming in there,
yeah,
it feels like a holiday to me in there, you know.
And there's plenty of them around here in the Bay Area.
There are, and I just love them. I love that there's that many there's so many things in them that I just sort of go wild in them. So they picked the right girl.
Shop too.
Yeah, isn't that fun? There's a couple of places.
So excited about shopping.
Yeah, I don't usually, but when it's like I don't care about clothes, you know, except shoes. I really care about shoes. For clothes, other kind of clothes I don't care about.
So we've been asked on this show, for the record, what our favorite television show was, and I did say Cheers. There was some certain magic that was brought to that show. What was it, the writing or the characters or both? What was it?
I think it was that I was really having an affair with Ted and no one knew it.
You can't get that on Extra.
You can't.
Is he the lover that he was on the in the bar?
He's better than the lover than he was in the bar. He's the best lover I've ever had. He's the reason I got a divorce. He's the reason I'm not with my last boyfriend.
At least that's what the tabloids say, right?
He's in love with this woman named Mary Steenburgen, and he's ruined my life, and I can't even really talk about Ted too much because it was so traumatic.
Compose yourself, Kirstie. Compose yourself.
Speaking of the tabloids, is that something difficult to deal with?
No, I love the tabloids. I think they're fantastic. I think that you can do this with the tabloids. Anything you read, you can pretty much just know that it's the opposite of that. Do you know? If I've just fallen in love with someone, you can just be sure we just broke up. And if we've just broken up, you can be sure we just are going to be together forever. So they're pretty much false.
Now, is that, obviously, I know when you're talking about the tabloids, you're talking about Star and all of those things, but what about the more legitimate tabloids like People or Us Magazine, or this show, right?
Sorry.
You know, I think truly, when you sign on to be a celebrity, you sign on for a certain amount of your life being exposed. And if something is exposed about me that is true, it really doesn't bother me. If something is exposed to me that's totally made up, that would be damaging to my children or to whoever I'm with, then it, you know, it makes you mad for a while. But you really have to look at who buys these magazines. Do you?
Say it to camera 5, Miss Alley.
Do you buy these magazines? Because, I mean, really, you got to take a look inside your heart. Because if that's really what you're interested in, you need to get life. Anyway,
we're going to take a look inside your heart and see what maybe some of those responsibilities are when we return. More with Kirstie Alley when we come back.
Like thirsty.
Oh, God.
Whatever.
Kirstie, Brian.
I'm Gail Sierens. Today at 5, a different approach to treating patients with pancreatic cancer. Doctors are trying something new before putting their patients through surgery. See how it works today at 5 on News Channel 8.
Hey, aren't you the 1-800-DENTIST lady?
That's me.
Pre-screen dentist in your area.
That's it.
Say, I need a dentist. Can you tell me a really good one?
You should just call 1-800-DENTIST. They're all really great dentists. That's what we mean by pre-screen, and they'll have a lot more information.
Or I could use the Yellow Pages. Just kidding.
First, I take the kids to school. Then I work out. Stop by.
Argosy knows you don't have time for a degree.
Shoot, forgot about kickboxing.
Degree programs that'll fit anyone's schedule, even yours. That's Argosy University. Call today.
Uh-oh, PTA meeting.
Argosy knows you're looking for a degree, not a football program. A school as focused on learning as you. Smaller classes, degrees that lead to careers. That's Argosy University. Call today.
If you've been injured on the job, the workers' compensation law is intended to compensate you a portion of your lost wage benefits and provide you with medical care. I'm Tony Turner. I represent only injured workers. The workers' compensation law is complex, and dealing with the insurance companies can be frustrating. There's a statute of limitations associated with most workers' compensation claims. If you would like to know more about your rights, including the possibility of a lump sum settlement, call me, Tony Turner.
How does a 9-year-old girl escape the clutches of a suspected child murderer? How does an 11-year-old girl save her mother and sister from a deranged attacker? Incredibly courageous kids on the next Montel.
Today at 3 on News Channel 8.
Welcome back to Daytime. It's all Kirstie all the time.
Yeah.
Don't change your TV. This is not taped. This is live. Today is the 8th of July. It's like a big deal if we get a gardener on this show, and having you here.
Thanks.
No, that's why having you here is it's huge.
Brian, don't tell her that. She's supposed to be thinking that this is some great, incredible
Look, I've seen the show. I think it's a great show. I do. So, whatever.
How about that?
Thank you. Thank you. Somebody run that Pier 1 spot, would you?
Kirstie, like Thursday. I want to go back a little bit because I got to tell you, I loved you in the Star Trek Wrath of Khan when you shaved your head.
That wasn't me. I'm the girl with the pointed ears.
Didn't you shave your head in that?
No, that was Persis Kambata. That was Star Trek. I was in Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan.
Okay, this is a
Kirstie Alley.
This is
She
a
didn't
huge
shave her
faux
head.
pas.
No, it isn't.
But that's okay. But you were in the Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
And I still loved you in that.
I was one with the pointed ears.
You got her name right.
Kirstie, like thirsty.
You know, here's the deal.
Okay, but I still
my
loved you
whole
in
life
the Wrath
I've
of
been
Khan.
called Kirstie, Curtsy, Kirstie, so that doesn't even bother me anymore. And most people say I loved you, and because they think I was Persis Kambata, and I'm glad because Persis Kambata was really beautiful.
Okay, so you're telling me that I'm not the first one who's done that?
No, 100 people have done that.
See, I don't feel so bad. Thank goodness.
Maybe a million.
You could look on the bright side. There's all these people who were in Cheers who've spun off all their own TV shows. Kelsey Grammer did very well with his.
Yes,
the other
did.
guys, whatever.
Yes.
He's doing well with himself. Does
Yes.
he big time you now, or is he pretty cool to you?
He won't take my call.
He big times you. Yeah.
Kelsey's great. Everybody in that show is just an amazing person, truly. Sometimes you do shows with people and they're jerks, and nobody on that show is a jerk. They're really wonderful, wonderful people, for real. And they always will be. And if you'd like to know the jerks on the other shows, I'd be happy to.
Yeah, let's go over jerks. Jerks.
How about on Veronica's Closet? What was that like to have your very own show?
Well, at first it was swell because we came out of the shoot, the highest rated series in history, and we held that position for 2 years. Our writing got the writing went a little awry on that show, but I think it's because there were a lot of, it was an expensive show, and it was, the producers of that show also produced Friends, so they had a lot going on with Friends, then a lot going on with us, and then they tried a third show, Jessie, and juggling all 3 of the shows at the same time.
Who came up with that character? Was that more like you?
They're all like me, as long as they're a little neurotic. I came up with the character. They came up with the job. I thought I wanted her to be someone who was divorced and someone who, or should be divorced because her husband was cheating on her. And that is not, by the way, real life. My husband did not cheat on me.
You had a husband?
That I know of. No, he didn't. But I like the idea that she was torn, always sort of clinging to this guy. So I sort of created the character.
What about you worked with Woody Allen in Deconstructing Harry? What was that like?
Well, Woody Allen doesn't speak a lot to the people. Usually on a set there's a lot of chatter between the actors and the directors, and he doesn't talk very much. He said, I said to him, do you mind if I ad-lib? And he said, if it's funny. And I said, and if it's not? He said, well, then, you know, basically you got the idea, you're sort of fired. But he didn't say that. But he meant that, I think. So I ad-libbed a lot, and he liked it. And the only words he ever spoke to me during the movie were funny. Funny. Funny.
Well, I guess that's good coming from Woody Allen, right?
It's better than fired. Fired.
Yeah.
You are so fired. Yeah, it was great.
Well, we know how the big shots treat you. I'm still intrigued about the walking down the street thing, because I'm,
Are you back on that again,
because when
Brian?
Deborah did the weather, she couldn't go anywhere.
It depends on where you're walking.
Okay, give us the best story of I'm walking down the street, I'm Kirstie Alley, you're Kirstie, forget it.
Like
Kirstie.
Kirstie.
And this happened
like
to me.
Thirsty.
Yeah, I quit.
Well, I don't know if I have a best story, but it depends. If you're in L.A., walking down the street, people notice you and they recognize you, but they're sort of used to it, so it's no big deal. Same with sort of New York. Let's see, I was in a store yesterday, which I won't mention the name.
Cash and carry?
No, but it's not like, it's not, let's see, it's not competition for Pier 1, but I don't need to say the name anyway. Anyway, I was in this store, and I had to sign about 80 autographs while I was trying to shop with my children. And, you know, they're 8 and 10. So they're running like nuts around the store, and I'm trying to shop, and I'm signing autographs, and people are handing me like this. Here. Yeah. Will you sign this? Sorry, I don't have a pen.
Will you sign this for me?
But you don't have a pen. Oh, and then they leave the top on it like that, and I go, okay, okay, now I can't write because it's like bending my fingers. I'm going, oh, yeah, that looks good. Cherish that, okay.
Do you think I can sell this on eBay?
I was just going to say that. Then it pops up on eBay.
So then I think, you know what I would prefer, what I would mean more to me if I just say, hi, I'm Joe Billy Bob. And I go, hey, Joe Billy Bob, I'm Kirstie Alley. How are you? It's nice to meet you. Well, I'd rather chat with them for a second than, you know, sign something that they're going to throw away in the car, probably.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know. And then my best ones are, and you only get this in little towns. That is, look at her, look at her. Do you know who you are? Do you know who you are?
Right in the face. And you just got a feel for them, right?
Well, or shoot them.
That's illegal in some of those small towns.
You got that as the weather. I know you are, I know you are, I know who you are.
Not to that extent.
What people have they said you were when it wasn't you?
Natasha Kinsky.
Can see it.
And Charlotte Rampling, and I think that's it.
Charlotte Rampling.
English, British actress.
Of course. I can't get your name right. How am I going to get...
Charlotte Rampling?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who she is.
No.
You would know her.
I would.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, yeah, she did. Well, you would know her if you saw her. She's a British actress.
But you're right. It's better than somebody saying you're...
It's better than
Phyllis
saying...
Diller, right?
Yeah, maybe. It is better. But with this blonde sort of fake hair, it's sort of close.
So can you give us a favor? I hate to go back to the well again, but can you give us like a favorite Cheers memory? Or a horrible one?
My favorite Cheers memory was not during the filming. My favorite Cheers memory was we had dressing rooms upstairs, and
there she is.
God. What am I doing there? That is sad. Where am I? I don't get it.
We could sit and watch this all day.
God.
All right, continue on with your story. So sorry to bother you with those.
He was so good, Robin Colcord.
He was
good?
rich.
And oh yes, and Tom Skerritt. It's all coming back to me. I don't have a clue who that guy is. Nice jacket. Ted, bad hair. Me, bad jacket.
Now Ted wore
shoulder pads.
Ted wore a piece back then, right? A hairpiece.
You know, most of the time he did. Everyone thinks Ted had this big hairpiece. Ted, at the very towards the end, had this thing where he would wear one like back here, but it was never like that. Eddie Munster thing is totally Ted's hair. He had tons of hair right here. He was getting a little thin back in here, you know. But anyway, the best thing about Cheers, well, I remember one time we were upstairs and I had a Polaroid camera and Ted was taking a shower. So Woody went through the ceiling and down into the bathroom and opened the door and flung it open. And so I took a picture of Ted taking a shower. And unfortunately, his head was cut off, or I would have brought the shot to prove it to you. But he's very well endowed, and we were amazed.
Oh, and better than the guy at Wimbledon?
Who?
Never mind.
Don't eat yet.
Oh, I didn't see him.
Don't even go there.
How was that?
I just saw the, you know.
I just saw
So
the back
you
of him.
so ended off. How was he endowed?
They had the blur thing on it.
They did?
They don't show that on TV.
You can't even get that. You guys can't even get the thing without the blur here in the station?
Mr. McEwen, could we work on that, please? We did broadcast it. We'll check on it.
Yeah, just lose the blur.
All right. Well, Kirstie's staying with us. She's brought someone
my
with
God.
her who tells us there may be some environmental hazards that could affect you and your children. We'll meet him and find out more next.
Planning to sell your home or condo this year? You're probably wondering how much it's worth. You can find out free on the web at housevalues.com. So if you're planning to sell, visit housevalues.com today. That's housevalues.com.
Do you experience sudden hot flashes? Are they interrupting your daily activities like work or sleep or just watching a movie? You're not alone. Millions of women experience menopause-related hot flashes. Local physicians are studying an oral investigational medication to treat these symptoms. To learn more about the hot flash study, call toll-free 1-877-58-STUDY. The first step is your call.
If you think you or someone you love has suffered because a doctor or hospital made mistakes, you could be right. The fact is, 3 times as many people die from medical errors as die each year in auto accidents. 1 million more are injured or harmed. If a medical error has caused you or a loved one pain, call Richard Mulholland and Associates today. We have the legal and medical experience to handle your case. Hospitals do make mistakes. You and your family shouldn't have to pay for them.
Looks like our competitors for the Raid Decathlon are raring to go. First a spray of Hot Shot for one team and Fast Kill Raid for the other. And they're off. Well, half of them are. Those Hot Shot bugs still showing some spunk, doing the cabinet climb, the sink swim, even the wall crawl, while the Raid team is looking kind of dead. Uh-oh, this competition's over. Here's Fast Kill. Fast Kill Raid. Kills bugs, dead. S.C. Johnson, a family company.
Planning to sell your home or condo this year? You're probably wondering how much it's worth. You can find out free on the web at housevalues.com. So if you're planning to sell, visit housevalues.com today. That's housevalues.com.
For more information about today's show, go to tbo.com and click on Daytime.
And welcome back. We mentioned it earlier, toxins in your home. Well, Miss Allie, I'm not even going to go down the K word.
Miss Sally.
Brought a very dear friend of hers, Mr. Michael Wisner. Michael, you two met on what was kind of weird terms, isn't that right?
Well, yes. Actually, I had researched with other scientists a program that was written by L. Ron Hubbard that's covered in this book I brought today, Clear Body, Clear Mind. And I had set up some nonprofit clinics in California that diagnosed and treat chemical exposure. And Kirstie called because one of our physicians, Dr. Megan Shields, was also very gifted in nutritional medicine. And Kirstie called and asked if she could see Megan about the nutritional program. So she came in the office and then...
No.
Sweetie, you're sugarcoating here, sir.
Here's what happened. I had been poisoned by I was sick, really, really sick. And for about a year and a half, I went to all kinds of doctors. And they told me that, you know, from being crazy to being, you know, whatever. And nobody had any clue what was going on with me. And Megan Shields told me about Michael and said, go to him and tell him what's happening to you. So I went to him and I said, this is what's happening to me. I'm, you know, freezing all the time and I'm shaking and I can't walk from this chair to that chair and all these stupid things that were going on with me. And he said, have you had a house recently that was sprayed for termites? And in California, I don't know if they do it here, but they tent the houses and they spray for termites. And I'd moved into 3 houses in 6 months that had been sprayed and termited. So he showed me, he got out his manual and he showed me what happens to you if you're poisoned by that. And it was every single symptom I had. And so he said, you need to do this detox program that's in Clear Body, Clear Mind to get the toxins out of your body.
All of a sudden makes boats in the backyard not seem so bad, does it?
No, it was.
Now, what specific chemical was that?
The chemical is now banned, thank goodness, but the chemical that they used in her home that she had the symptoms of was a chemical called methyl bromide. And that's no longer used because it did cause symptoms like that, particularly with farm workers who had acute exposures. But, you know, what we're talking about today and what Mr. Hubbard talks about in his book is that every one of us, you, me, everyone walking around in America today has up to 250 known toxic chemicals stored in their body. And we're starting to see what that means in terms of health effects, in terms of increase possibly in illnesses like Parkinson's or Alzheimer's or autism. It could be environmental triggers that are contributing to these things, to environmental sensitivities, to the increase we see in women's breast cancer. So where does these chemicals building up slowly, insidiously over time, not like where you would notice them all at once, but as they build up inside the body over months, years, do they start to cause or predispose you to having problems?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was going to ask you, as a mom, you know, obviously we're always concerned about the type of chemicals that we have in our house.
You bet.
And tell us maybe some of the things that we have at home that you have a problem with.
Well, here's one that's great for moms. I mean, the first thing to do is buy the book and read it because he talks about some of the chemicals in the home and so forth. But here's one, for instance. You know that we have children in the California cities that have IQs that are 4 to 12 points lower by actual study just from the lead in their environment, because lead is a neurotoxin. Do you know that the #1 exposure that you and all of us have to lead is we walk it in off the street grime on our shoes? So if you left your shoes at the front door, like the Japanese have done for centuries, and only wore house slippers and so forth inside, you'd reduce yours and your family's exposure to lead by 40% for free.
Now, where does that lead come from?
It comes from vehicular exhaust, from industrial exhaust. It goes up in the air in particulate exposure and pollution, comes down because it's heavier than air. We walk it on the street and we walk it into our homes.
So have you implemented many of these into your everyday life?
Well, yeah, after I did the program that's in Clear Body, Clear Mind, first of all, it saved my life, literally saved my life. All the neurological things that were going on with me ceased. Then I worked with Michael. He came into my house. He came into all the other celebrities' houses I know because he's really nice and he does it. And we took out all the ant sprays, all the bug things, all the paints and varnishes and all these things that we have under our cabinet. You know, I clean with vodka and baking soda.
Vodka?
Vodka. You just buy big, cheap gallons of vodka. It's antibacterial. It has no smell, and it cleans wonderfully. And baking soda. And so Michael has gotten me down to all sorts of little details that are easy to.
You can do things in your home that don't cost less money, that don't have chemicals in them. You can deter bugs, termites, you can wash, you can clean ovens, you can do all these things without paying a lot of money for chemicals that we don't have no knowledge of what they can do to you.
All right. Mr. Michael, thank you very much. Miss Kirstie.
Kirstie.
I cannot do it.
Can you say thirsty?
Yeah.
Okay, say it.
Thirsty.
Okay, so what's my name?
Kirstie.
Bravo.
By the way, the website for the book is clearbodyclearmind.com if somebody wants to take a look at the book.
Thank you very much, both of you, very much.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thanks, Kirstie.
Coming up, spam. It isn't just for breakfast anymore. We'll talk to you about the computer applications when we return.
Spam?
Yeah.
That is so Kansas.